You're tuned in to Celebs Flash, your go-to stop for the juiciest updates in TV and entertainment. Hey there, Days of Our Lives fans, buckle up, because Kristen DiMera is behind bars at Statesville Prison, taking the blame for her daughter's mess. But this week the plot twists again. She gets kidnapped, and it looks like Sarah Horton might be snatched right along with her. It's Belinda here from Celebs Flash, and today we're diving into who broke Kristen out, and why Sarah might be the next target. We've got plenty of drama to break down, so hit that like, smash that subscribe if you haven't already, and let's jump straight in. Right now, Kristen's doing what she does best, being a fiercely protective mom. She's making the ultimate sacrifice for her wild child, little Rachel Black. Remember a few months back, when Kristen crashed the courtroom right before Johnny DiMera's verdict? She stood up and confessed. She cut a deal with her brother EJ DiMera. She'd admit to shooting him, but in return, he'd keep quiet about Rachel actually pulling the trigger. That way, both Johnny and Rachel would be safe from the fallout. Kristen's whole world revolves around her daughter, and she'll destroy herself before she lets Rachel get hurt. Once EJ pieced everything together, remembering that it was Rachel who fired the gun, he, Kristen, and Marlena Evans agreed to cover it up, knowing that Rachel's memory was a mess from all the trauma. Since then, Kristen's been seen only briefly, mostly when Rachel was allowed to visit her mom. But lately Brady Black has put a hard stop to those visits. He's furious that their daughter was encouraging Thomas DiMera to lash out at poor Cat Green. Brady's convinced Kristen is nothing but bad news for their kid. He still thinks she shot EJ herself. Very few people know the truth, and Kristen made them promise never to tell Brady. If he found out, maybe he'd soften and let Rachel see her mom. But Kristen's still protecting Rachel, even from her father's anger. Fast forward to this week on Days of Our Lives, and things are getting wild. Spoilers reveal that by the end of the week, Kristen is seen blindfolded, still wearing her Statesville blues, demanding, "Where the hell am I?" Yep, someone busted her out of prison, and is now holding her hostage. But here's the big question: why? And even bigger, who did it? And hold on, because this is where it gets crazy. We've got to talk about who else might be targeted next: Sarah Horton. Now, according to one of our most trusted inside sources, this kidnapping plot isn't just about Kristen. We reported months ago that both Kristen and Sarah would be abducted together. And guess what? A few sketchy sites have been lifting our scoop and passing it off as their own. But you all know, the real leaks come straight from here. Our source has a perfect track record. Remember back in February when we said Rachel was the one who shot EJ? That was 6 months before it was confirmed on screen. And yes, the Days of Our Lives press office actually emailed me. They weren't thrilled that I dropped that spoiler early. Anyway, I still trust this insider completely. Apparently, other websites do too, since they're just copying our work word for word. According to that same leaker, Kristen and Sarah get kidnapped by a man. And no, Kristen doesn't pull off the escape herself. Someone helps her get out, and she ends up trapped again. So now the mystery is, who wanted both women taken? Is there really one man behind all of it, or just a hired hand working for a female puppet master pulling the strings? Now, if Sarah really disappears too, Maggie's going to lose it, and we already know who she'll blame first. Yep, poor Xander. She'd assume he's done something shady to her precious daughter. But honestly, I don't think our hunky Xander Kiriakis has anything to do with Kristen or Sarah being taken. He's made enough mistakes for a lifetime. Remember the clown fiasco and everything with Justin's wife? Yeah, he's learned his lesson. So, who is behind this mess? I've got a few solid theories. Let's rewind about 4 years. Kristen and Gwen once kidnapped Sarah themselves. Sound familiar? Kristen even wore a Sarah mask, shoved the real Sarah into a trunk, and shipped her off to DiMera Island. They drugged her, messed with her mind, total chaos. Then, fast forward to 2023, Kristen, Gwen, and Ava Vitali teamed up for a prison break. So for them, busting out of Statesville is basically child's play. But this time it's different. Kristen's not in control. She's furious, blindfolded, and confused, clearly not calling the shots. Meanwhile, this week's Days of Our Lives spoilers show Gwen acting sketchy, dealing with some secret assignment. The question is, who's she working for? EJ maybe? Could he have asked her to handle someone, Maybe even Kristen herself? It wouldn't be the first time EJ got others to do his dirty work. Or maybe, just maybe, this secret job ties directly into Kristen's kidnapping. If EJ's feeling guilty about Kristen taking the fall for his shooting, maybe he's the one who arranged for her to be taken out of prison, not as punishment, but to pull her into one of his new schemes. After all, Dr. Rolf and his assistant Mark Green have that mysterious new lab running again. Something shady's going on there for sure. But let's say it's not Gwen or EJ behind this. That opens up a whole new can of DiMera drama. What if this was the work of Megan Hathaway, with a little help from her brother, the ever-suspicious Andre DiMera? There's been strange energy around Tony lately, and fans are starting to wonder if he's really Tony at all, or if Andre's the one walking around pretending to be him. Wouldn't be the first time Days pulled that kind of identity swap. And let's not forget, Megan and Kristen had quite the partnership before she vanished after the whole orchid mess. So maybe, just maybe, this isn't your typical kidnapping. It could be part of a bigger plan. A friendly abduction to get Kristen out safely. Or maybe she's being used as some kind of test subject for whatever experiment Rolf's cooking up in that lab. Or maybe EJ and Gwen were actually plotting to help Kristen flee the country altogether. Picture this. They sneak her out of prison, send her and Rachel off to hide in Alemania so mother and daughter can finally be together. Kristen's done nothing but sacrifice herself for that kid, and Brady shut her out completely. It's not hard to imagine EJ feeling a little guilty and stepping in to fix things. Still, I'm not fully buying that one. My gut says this kidnapper isn't planning an escape to paradise. Whoever's behind this wants Kristen and Sarah kept close, in Salem, where the real chaos can unfold. Now here's where it gets really messy. Gwen could actually have her own reason to go after Sarah. Maybe she just wants her out of the picture, so she can chase Xander again. Wouldn't be the first time, right? Or maybe Kristen gets hurt during the breakout, and Sarah gets snatched purely because she's a doctor who can patch her up. Then once Sarah knows too much, they have to keep her locked away so she can't rat them out. But if it's not Gwen and EJ and not Megan and Andre, then maybe, just maybe, the kidnapper is Rachel Black herself. We haven't seen much of her lately, and she's definitely not okay with her mom rotting in prison for something she didn't do. On top of that, Brady's been spending more time around Sarah, and that could make Rachel feel threatened, like Sarah's replacing her mom. So what if little Rachel cooked up this whole plot? Maybe she's got a male accomplice helping her, doing the heavy lifting while she pulls the emotional strings. It's a wild theory, but if you've watched Days of Our Lives long enough, you know, crazy runs deep in the DiMera bloodline. Kristen and Sarah could be hidden somewhere local, like a remote DiMera property, or one of those secret labs they love to use. And once this big gala event wraps up, rumor has it a massive umbrella storyline is about to kick off. One that ties all these threads together. Kristen's kidnapping, Sarah's disappearance, the shady lab, maybe even Brady's redemption arc, and by the way, the Kristen kidnapping has already been confirmed in official spoilers, so we know this isn't just a rumor. Whatever's happening here, it's setting up something big. If the leak's right and Sarah also gets taken, that could send Xander spiraling. You can bet he'll go all out to save her. And if he manages to free both Sarah and Kristen, that might just be the redemption story he's been waiting for. Imagine it. Xander riding to the rescue, proving himself once and for all, and winning Sarah back. Even Maggie would have to forgive him after that. It would be the perfect celeb-style comeback. Drama, danger, and a dash of romance. But for now we'll have to wait and see how this all plays out. One thing's certain. Salem's about to explode with chaos, secrets, and plenty of tears. Thanks as always for being such loyal listeners. Make sure to follow us wherever you tune into podcasts, because you definitely don't want to miss the next twist. Celebs Flash is streaming everywhere: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.